Guess who's finally getting good at ice skating? This guy. Took me a little while, but I'm finally achieving my balance. Even though I'm not going to be performing figure eights anytime soon, I can at least be happy with the progress I've made. I mean, at least I'm no longer falling on my ass or face constantly. I really don't want to pick up where I left off last time because recalling it still freaks me out. However, I know I'm only stalling, so I might as well just get back into it. Naturally, I wasn't exactly thrilled about seeing those feelers extending toward us. I frantically wheeled for any part of my body to move, to no avail. They squirmed, wiggling, and I could see needles poking out from the tips. I did not like where this was going. All I could do was close my eyes, bracing myself for what was to come. Luckily, it never did. The feelers were inches away from piercing us when the sounds of many boots storming the floor became audible. The controller paused, turning to face its source. A new group burst into the room. In addition to full body armor, they also were wearing heat vision goggles and wielded tranquilizer guns. They didn't waste any time in shooting darts into our attackers. "Can you move?" the one nearest to me asked. I only managed to shake my head in response. He pulled out his radio, speaking into it. "This is Cahill to Medical Wing. There are 20, possibly more, who've been infected by the connector, and 4 who've sustained injuries due to some light explosives." "Understood. We'll send help right away. What is your current position?" After the call concluded, Cahill put away his radio, turning back to us. "You 4 sit tight. You should count yourselves lucky that thing didn't get to you. My God, is that surgery going to be painful for them?" Although curious about what exactly he meant by that, I got a strong suspicion that it was something I did not want to find out more about. We actually had more pressing matters. Besides anything medical related, I mean. We were now at serious risk of being exposed. They would have to take our helmets off in order to see how extensive our injuries were. As they put us on stretchers, I mentally groaned at the thought of our only window of opportunity to escape closing. We were taken to the medical wing. Mikey was put in his own room, while Carl, Nick, and I had to share one. I thought at the time that that wasn't ideal. The reason being, if we were all in one place, it would make it easier to catch us. However, it turned out being placed into one room actually worked in our favor. We were told to wait for the doctor to see us. He arrived shortly, holding a clipboard. "All right, I'm going to do a brief rundown of any symptoms you may have. Try to answer my questions as clearly." "Ivan?" Carl spoke up. The doctor paused, looking at him with a slight recognition. "I'm sorry, have we met before? I tend to see a lot of patients, so if we have, I apologize for not being able to recall it." "Dude, it's me, Carl." Ivan's eyes went wide. Immediately he rushed over to him, taking off his helmet. "It really is you," he exclaimed in a whisper. "But how? Why are you here?" I could ask you the same thing. Long story short, we got captured. What about you? "Similar circumstances, I'm afraid." "Anybody mind filling us in here?" I asked. As it turned out, Ivan and Carl were old buddies. When he got injured, Ivan, only a doctor's assistant at the time, helped with caring for him. The two got to talking and became fast friends. Ivan was the one I wanted us to go to. Guess that's out the window now, though. I'm terribly sorry, Carl. I slipped up. What happened exactly? Nick asked Ivan. I got lonely. They managed to track me down and catch me after a date that I had. Just my luck, too. It went well, and I thought it might become something more. Now I'm stuck here under constant surveillance. Wait, I spoke up, feeling sudden panic. Are there cameras in this room? Not to worry. Privacy is a privilege for the soldiers here. Now, if we were in the prisoners section of the medical wing, that would be a different story. I relaxed at that. Ivan, I know this is the first time we've talked in years, and I hate to ask you this after all you've been through, but could you help us out? Carl asked. I welcome any opportunity to stick it to this godforsaken place. Unfortunately, I'm not sure how much aid I can lend you. I'll do what I can. First things first, I need to make sure nobody else can come in here. He achieved this by putting a caution sign on the door. I have some matters that require my attention. You guys have a good rest. He seems like a nice guy, I told Carl. Yeah, he is. Shame he got captured. Usually they'd kill most people who try to defect. What's the exception then? Well, if someone happens to be really good at what they do, and Ivan is. He explained that Ivan was exceptional in his field and rose through the ranks fast. Over the course of the next few days, he would treat us. I don't know what kind of medicine they were giving us, but it was doing wonders. It must have been some kind of super drug. On day 4, he once again came in wheeling a food cart. The scent of eggs, waffles, bacon, and sausages, which woke us up from our sleep, was heavenly. Good morning, Ivan said, greeting us. I'm sure you all must be hungry. The word didn't do justice to accurately describe the giant metaphorical black hole that decided to make its home inside my stomach. I made a waffle breakfast sandwich with a bit of everything on it and topped it with butter and syrup. While we ate, Ivan updated us on our situation. By the way, I have good news. I looked over your lab results this morning, and you should all be making a full recovery within a matter of days. Well, that's good and all, Carl replied, but we're still stuck here, and it'll only be a matter of time before they find us. Then we'll all be in deep shit, including you. He took a large bite of his waffle. I've been thinking about that. Did you know that this facility doesn't only go underground, it also technically goes below sea level? What are you getting at, Ivan? Well, I don't know the specifics, but this entire place was built above and below an uncharted island. Well, fascinating, but how does that help us, though? Well, it just so happens that this area develops weapons for other sectors of this organization. Those weapons are then shipped via air or sea. Now, suppose someone were to swap places with the people in charge of overseeing the voyages of those ships. Carl pondered this. Wouldn't that be dangerous? I asked after consuming part of my sandwich. I mean, who knows what those ships will be carrying? Well, nothing good, I can tell you that much. Trust me, whatever they're carrying will be safer at the bottom of the ocean. So what exactly is the plan after we sneak on? Wait until you get close enough and then dispose of the cargo. How? Blow it up. What? The ships are all made with self-destruct mechanisms in case they get intercepted, although such an occurrence is extremely rare. Nick, who'd been silent up until then, chose to speak up. Is that the only reasons the ships have them? He asked. As a matter of fact, it isn't. They're also for killing anything that breaks out during voyages. Those words caused apprehension to stir within me. You mean those cargoes also carry creatures? Nick inquired. That's right. Why? Other sectors have certain resources to experiment with them that this one doesn't. Anyway, I need to get going. The ship leaves in 4 days. That should give you plenty of time to make a decision. There was a lot of discussion within that time frame. Eventually, we came to the conclusion that this was our best course of action. The question was, how were we going to pull it off? Ivan told us that the ships coming in arrive late at night, and the ones leaving do so early in the morning. He helped us tremendously once again. Under his recommendation, we were able to be part of a crew heading back to the United States. It's easier than other jobs at the facility, which is good for people getting over serious injuries. Due to the fact that Carl and Ivan had history together, we knew we needed to execute our plan as quickly as possible. Otherwise, they'd eventually stumble across the connection. It was already very fortunate for us that we happened to meet him, and it'd be a shame for that luck to go to waste. Once Ivan gave us a clean bill of health, we were stationed on the docks. Being outside after so long was truly refreshing. It would have been more so if we could have taken our helmets off. Still, we knew if we were patient, we'd be out of the woods soon. You three must be the new crew members, the captain of the ship said to us. He was a hawkish man in both appearance and attitude. His tone was very sharp and to the point. Although he didn't seem to be as built as Mikey, his physique was equally intimidating. His eyes made me feel like he could read my mind if he really wanted to. Yeah, that's us, sir, Carl replied to him. How should we address you? My name is Arif, but Captain will do. Now, I suggest you get on board. We'll be leaving soon. Boats were something that I didn't have much experience with. Well, any, for that matter. Our town does have a lake. However, after one incident where a family decided to go fishing and never came back, people wisely decided to avoid it. One challenge I didn't count on: seasickness. I got it bad. I felt okay at first, then the way the ship rocked back and forth began getting to me. Are you okay? Nick asked me. I'm good. I just need to relax a bit, I responded, leaning on the side rails a bit. Arif took notice of this and approached me. Are you feeling under the weather? No, Captain, it's nothing. Really? Because you seem as if you're about to pass out. Why don't you take your helmet off? Fresh air do you some good. I knew I couldn't do that. Fortunately, Carl thought fast. Did you skip breakfast again? He called out to me. Oh, yeah, I got in a hurry and forgot to grab something to eat this morning. Damn it, Arif said. You should know better than to patrol on an empty stomach. Grab a bite and hurry back. We actually didn't have breakfast that morning. The ship housed a kitchen from which I consumed a bottle of Coke and a large pre-made roast beef sandwich. Truth be told, eating did help me a bit. When I was done, I headed back to the deck. Are you feeling better? Nick asked. A little. Good, because Arif said if you threw up, we'd have to throw you overboard. What? I responded, taken aback. I'm kidding, he laughed. I shot him a light glare from under my helmet. Arif saw me and approached once again. He faced the sea, the wind ruffling his hair. "Good to see you're in better condition," he told me. "Thank you, sir. By the way, out of curiosity, what exactly is the cargo on ship?" "You don't need to concern yourself with that. All you have to do is report if anything goes wrong, and also if you spot any ships." "And what exactly is the protocol if I see one?" He turned to face me. "Well, we can't have anyone reporting that they saw us." The implication of those words were chilling. From his eyes, I knew he was dead serious. The thought of what he might do to us if we were found out was not a pleasant one. Yet we knew he wasn't the most dangerous thing on the ship. For a long while, things were pretty uneventful. "So," I said to Carl, "are you worried about Ivan?" "A little. If they find out my connection to him, he could end up in deep trouble. He knew the risk, though, so I can only hope that he can handle himself." "Hey, you guys seeing this too?" we heard Nick say. We checked to see, and my stomach dropped when I realized what we were viewing. "Are those whirlpools?" I asked. "I've heard about them, but I didn't think they could get that big." It wasn't only their size that was concerning, it was also the fact that more of them kept appearing. We knew this couldn't be anything natural. We radioed Arif, and he ran back on deck looking rattled. His eyes were wide as he stared at what was now a fast gathering storm. No, he's supposed to be sleeping. Before we could inquire as to who Arif was referring to, he dashed away, presumably to check on the cargo. The ship furiously rocked back and forth as waves were battering against it. "This is looking bad," I said, gripping hard on the railing. "Should we try one of the lifeboats?" Nick suggested. "In this weather?" Carl replied to him, shouting over striking lightning and thunder. "Are you crazy? Do you have any better—" "Oh, shit." Nick screamed those words as a massive wave rose from the water. This one sent us flying back, hitting the cabin walls. Our body armor took the brunt of the impact. That didn't stop it from hurting like hell, though. Water found its way under my helmet, which I accidentally breathed in, and began hacking and coughing as a result. "Fuck it," I murmured between coughs. I removed my helmet and then dropped it onto the deck. Then I doubled over, coughing up a massive lungful of water. "Fucking hell," I wheezed. "You guys okay?" "I wouldn't say okay," Nick replied, "but I'll live." We glanced around to see who was left. Unfortunately, for many of the crew members, they'd been thrown overboard, while the rest were left temporarily dazed. It didn't take a genius to figure out that this storm was being caused by whatever the ship was transporting. We were about to head into the cabin when we noticed another crew member staring at us. From his expression, we knew that he recognized me. "Guys," he yelled, prompting the others to look in our direction. "It's the escapees." "Didn't one of them go in the cabin earlier?" another asked. "He must have sabotaged the tank." "We don't have any clue what you're talking about," I told them. "Liar! Grab the bastards!" We didn't know what they planned on doing to us, and we sure as hell weren't eager to find out. Unfortunately, we didn't have anywhere to escape. Suddenly, they stopped, their faces going pale. I mentally groaned, feeling that all too familiar knot that occurs when things are about to go from bad to worse. Turning around, we saw a tsunami wave rising from the sea. Did that scare us shitless? Absolutely. That wasn't the most terrifying thing about the situation, though. No, that would more accurately describe the giant cephalopod creature moving in the wave. Keep in mind, it was heading right towards us. My grip on the rail tightened as I watched its tentacles emerge from the water, and it let out its thundering battle cry, which sounded like seashells crunching. Whew, that was not a fun time. Unfortunately, that's all the time I've got for this post. I wish I had some calamari to eat, just to spite that thing. See you all next week.